The Music is Life podcast has our own merch now over on tpublic.com. Click the link below in the video description. Looking for some new threads? We got t-shirts, long sleeves, hoodies, crew neck sweatshirts, tank tops, baseball tees, and also clothes for kids and onesies for your little infant metalheads. Don't want clothes but love the Java? We got you covered with coffee mugs and travel mugs. Need protection for your electronics? We've also got phone and laptop cases. We've got everything you're looking for at the tpublic.com Music is Life podcast store. Use my link below for fast service. Thanks for your support. TerraNut is proud to offer you a natural nut bar chock full of healthy fats, minerals, and protein that meet your demands. Go to their website, www.terranut.com. You can order from them directly and they will ship it to you. Use my coupon code LOUMAVS and you will get a 25% discount on your first order. TerraNut Superfood Snacks, www.terranut.com. Don't forget to use coupon code LOUMAVS at checkout. Fuel your life.
Ladies and gentlemen, how do?
We are ready and waiting for you now. If it's a fight that you dare see, we've acquired our strength through pain. No more are we pathetic again. You are the reason why we claim that we've all become this way. And I regret this prison that I've created for myself. Who can it be? Who makes us cry? Won't save us from ourselves? I close my eyes and then I pray that revenge can be as sweet as it sounds. We are the rebels that fall from your hate as you play on. Someone to fight with you, to argue to, or make them all yell. My heart still beats, my eyes still cry, and I can't forgive you for this.
My name is Peter Steele. I am a kind, wonderful human being, sees the value in all life, lover of all living things, typical Christian, hypocristian. I am very happy.
One of the things that I ask all of my guests is the recent advent of cancel culture in arts. If we go back in time, we see that the music of Carnivore and Typo Negative was one of the first hits of cancel culture from people who had no concept of dry wit and sarcasm, which is something people from New York just have.
Yeah.
You know, there's no harm meant behind it. The thing about art is that one person said a long time ago that they'll know something is obscene if they see it, proving that whatever is deemed offensive is subjective and not objective.
Yes, science, bitch!
What is your opinion on cancel culture? And has there been any backlash from pushers of cancel culture for the music of Carnivore as performed by Carnivore AD?
Actually, there was. I think the cancel culture thing in the arts and the music has been around for a while. You know, they have a new name for it now, and it's packaged differently.
I guess you could call it
back
the satanic panic of the 80s, possibly.
Yeah, or even going further back before that, John Lennon and his comment that the Beatles were more popular than Jesus Christ, right? Elvis in the 50s.
Again, completely taken out of context.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So this is really nothing new. Again, it's called something different now, and it's packaged differently or, you know, put out there differently. Elvis in the 50s with the the religious groups in the more
and the hip swinging on Ed Sullivan, right?
Yeah, and also they burned his records. They had bonfires out in the street burning Elvis records in some of the rural communities in the 50s, or even going further back, you know, in even the classical music. Stravinsky, when he composed all his dissonant compositions, allegedly there were riots in the street, you know, in disapproval of it.
Was he the one that incorporated the devil's tritone in music?
Well, actually, that goes back even further. He did a lot of that. Absolutely. It was very experimental. So yeah, there's a lot of the flat five, the flat fifth, the devil's tritone. Yeah, sure. So it's nothing new. I studied art history in college. In the Middle Ages, if you composed any music that had that tritone, you'd be subject to being accused of witchcraft and be burned at the stake. That was kind of a form of cancel culture in a way as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, this is true.
love that chord. That's like my favorite my favorite interval. Actually, getting back to the comic, my character actually composes music with the tritone in it, and that's why I'm blasphemed by the church. Make a long story short. Yeah, so this cancel culture thing goes back to the Middle Ages, right? With the tritone and being burnt at the stake. At least nobody's burning anybody at the stake right now, right? Or at least not yet.
Well, you know what I say, a hot steak is better than a cold chop. Boo!
Yeah, no, that is true. So
oh, that was bad.
Yeah, no, it's in league with my kind of humor, so I could appreciate
Thank you.
it. Sure, no, you're very welcome. But getting back to the second part of the question, if we've encountered any of that, we have. You know, the main controversy with the original band was the accusation. You know, songs like Jesus, Hitler, and Race War, right? And the symbol that looks like whatever, but it has 3 ends of it instead of 4.
They called it a try something. I forgot what it was, but I know what you're referring to.
So yeah, that, you know, we encountered some of that controversy actually. As a matter of fact, Germany didn't even want to touch the band for the first couple of years of its existence. You know, then finally in 2019, the Rock Hard Festival, you know, took a chance and were like, all right, and booked us luckily. But yeah, the content, they thought it was just this is unacceptable. You know, I mean, you know, the German people are very sensitive about their past history, so I can almost kind of understand where they're coming from. But a song like Jesus Hitler was never, you know, a anthem at all.
It wasn't. In context, when you listen to it, it proves, if anything, that Peter was a wordsmith who
very much so
able to kind of like twist 2 complete polar opposite dichotomies and somehow twist it into one evil character, not promoting it. And again, it's like context and intent is everything, in my opinion.
No question about it. Yeah,
you know, he wasn't pushing, I don't want to say the word, so I'm going to say he wasn't pushing Yahtzeeism.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Definitely not. You know, it was just like a crazy science fiction tale that Pete came up with, you know, about a nun that's by Islam in World War II, and then gives birth to a child who's part Christ and part Hitler, but doesn't know if he should be bad or evil. You know, so the character isn't even fully evil. He's just torn, you know, similar to my predicament in the comic book. So maybe that's another allegory about the inherent struggle between good and evil in man, you know, and that's all it was. That's all it ever was, you know. But I guess anything where the word Hitler is going to be used is going to definitely make everybody, you know, put everybody back. And I guess I can understand that as well, right?
Yeah, but I look at it this way: if Mel Brooks can get away with making fun of
Hitler on Ice, he had in the one film, right?
Oh, Hitler on Ice, right?
Yeah.
You know, if Typo Negative, who, as people should know, Josh Silver, although an atheist, he was raised Jewish.
From a Jewish background, yeah, of course.
So why would he want to be associated with a group that was promoting Yahtzeeism?
Of course.
Again,
yeah,
I have to say Yahtzee instead of the other word for fear of getting taken down.
Yeah, no, I understand. Of course. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, nobody really reads the lyrics or knows about that, you know. Also, I think the delivery too, you know, Hitler, if you hear it like that, you know, but meanwhile, if Hitler's ice skating on the Mel Brooks movie, I think, you know, it's all about the delivery as well.
Exactly. Like I said, context and intent is everything. Back in 1991, Typo Negative did their first ever tour in Europe. Left-wing activist groups protested the band and branded them as fascist and sexist. For those listening to the show, this activist from the Netherlands named Rob was interviewed along with Peter and the club promoter that booked Typo's gig and was forced to cancel it. The promoter stated that one person's opinion on music shouldn't dictate whether an artist gets to perform or not, regardless if they're not fans of the music or subject matter. The activist repeatedly refers to song titles as opposed to the context of the lyrics. When questioned about the subject matter in Peter's lyrics, rather than address the context, the activist once again glosses over the context and intent of the songs and instead retorts with whataboutisms, proving that whoever is looking for trouble where there is no trouble to be found will more than likely find it because they deem it that way, not because it is that way. Projecting viewpoints that Peter was a misogynist. Meanwhile, it's a known fact that songs from Slow, Deep, and Hard were about one person and not all. The activist Rob once again clearly shows his stupidity and lack of critical thinking, similar to activists today. That's right, I didn't stutter. By taking one song title out of context without addressing the subject matter within the song. He even addresses his own misconceptions of the song Zero Tolerance with the statement, "At least that's what I thought it meant." proving that his viewpoint bears no value or meaning because of what he deems a song to be about and not what it's actually about with any objectivity. He can't just say, I don't like it, but I'm not going to stop others from listening to it. No. Instead, he's saying, I don't like it anyway, and I'm going to choose for you what is permissible in society because I said so. When Peter addressed the fact that he was not a fascist or misogynist, the activist Rob was then asked if, by his admission that he wasn't any of those things, is his viewpoint enough to still cancel Typo's concert? He then answered, for him it is. Rob is the perfect example of cancel culture from the 1990s that has manifested into the toxicity we have today with Twitterati. As long as art is consensual and doesn't depict the violation of defenseless humans or animals in real life, people should be able to enjoy whatever they want with their money, either in a performance setting or within the privacy of their own home. Congrats, Rob. You've officially earned a spot in the cancel culture douchebag hall of shame.
Emotional damage.
So we definitely caught some of that crap. And again, Germany didn't even want to touch us, and eventually they did. I've had people in Germany tell me, I can't believe you're actually up on stage here in Germany singing this song. I'm like, I can't believe it either. But I'll always take the time to make these points and present it like this. I'm not apologizing for it. I'm just trying to give you a background of what this is about. So we experienced that. And the song Race War too. That's another controversial one.
I don't think there's any reason why you should have to apologize for it. I mean,
yeah, no, and I wouldn't.
And right, because honestly, it's like art is meant to make you think. It's meant to be enjoyed. It's meant to entertain, but it's also there to provide a different perspective that deviates from one's narrative. And if you start censoring what people write about, then you're not allowing them to maximize on their artistry. I don't like censorship of any kind. I'm not saying that I'm promoting anything that would hurt anyone, but I will say once you start forcing standards on people, then you're going to have nothing but automatons in this world. And that's not what life is about. That's not the kind of life that I would want to live.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And also in this case, I mean, that's not what this art was about, though. It's a misunderstanding.
Right.
It's like, it's not this, you're wrong. Same thing with Race War, but everyone fails to realize the end line of it says, no one wins, we all lose. Even though the rest of the lyrics are really strong and horrific, but read it. Listen, this is where it ends off. That's the punchline at the end. Mm-hmm. That's really what it means.
If you could take news footage from today and make a video out of it with that song, you would see that people's treatment towards each other, Pete's lyrics were prophetic. You know?
They certainly were. He was ahead of his time with that. No question about it. It's just as relevant now as it was in 1986 when he wrote it or whenever he finalized it. Yeah. But again, it's not, shine not the anthem.
No,
or
it's
anything
not.
like that.
And
if it was, I would have a problem singing it, so I'm not far from it. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
Yeah,
and I have to give credit to Paul Bearer, because I know there was a point a couple of years ago where Sheer Terror were
the Proud Boys thing, right?
Yeah. And I'm really glad that he spoke out against that, because Paul said, and I remember exactly what he said. It was at the concert at Tompkins Square Park. He said, listen, I'm not going to sit here and condemn anyone for their political beliefs, but I don't want to associate them because of their political beliefs, meaning that Sheer Terror was never a band who were chauvinists of any kind. They were just regular guys playing music that they loved, not trying to force any kind of agenda down people's throat, and I respect that about him.
Seems the Gavin McGinnis jerk-off from the Proud Boys had mentioned us on his podcast in favorable light. Now, for a lot of bands, a lot of people, that might be a good thing, thinking, well, hey, we got some free publicity out of this guy, and thank him. Fuck that. So I posted on the Facebook thing that Proud Boys are not welcome anywhere we are or at any of our shows. To which they replied that they were gonna, their revenge, mind you. Listen to this. They were gonna buy our shirts and and wear them to marches and sing our songs. That was their revenge plan. So they were gonna put money in my pocket and walk around singing songs about manic depression, cocaine, and snooping. I guess I won. And a lot of people, some other people are like, oh, why would you want to alienate, a potential audience? Would you shut up for a second? Why would you want to alienate a certain audience or certain people that might come to see you play, no matter what their political beliefs are? Because of what their political beliefs are. Everybody complains about political fucking correctness. Political correctness is not the problem. Political ambivalence is. Just because the bathroom is closer than the kitchen doesn't mean you gotta eat shit. Alright? Remember that. I'm a proud boy. I eat all my vegetables.
I think that was a heroic move on his part, actually.
Definitely.
To stand up, to that organization and do what he did. No question about that.
And to give you context as to why I feel the way I do is because my dad was an auto mechanic on Astoria Boulevard in East Elmhurst. He owned his own business.
Mm-hmm.
That was a poor area of Long Island City, Astoria, Queens. Everyone who lived around there who didn't look like us were his customers. They went to him because he treated them with respect and with love.
Absolutely.
And I asked my dad, I said, Dad, this is when he was still alive, obviously. I asked him, you came here in 1968, you were at the height of the civil rights movement.
Yeah.
And you've never professed hatred for anyone of any kind who was of a different persuasion than you. He's like, why is that? He said, because at the end of the day, we all want to do well for ourselves and take care of our families.
Yeah,
no one's better than anybody.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. And that's totally where I'm at, and that's why it could be disheartening, for me when I have to confront some of this stuff here, within the context of the carnivore music,
Well, the fact that you just said it yourself right now on this podcast, that if you thought that the context of the lyrics were anything but what they were about, you wouldn't sing them.
No, definitely
not. Right there is
absolutely. I even make a statement.
Enough.
Yeah. I even make a statement before we do race war. I say, and now on the subject of xenophobia, ethnocentricity, and racism, these are all parts of the song. No one wins, we all lose. You got it? Like, I want to make sure everybody understands that.
Everybody got that?
Not that I'm trying to be politically correct or be preachy or anything.
That's not being
I'm just trying to set
correct.
the record straight here. Yeah. And this isn't like my, a liberal view trying to change something. I'm taking the actual phrases in the song and reciting them before the song. So it's not like I'm putting my own spin on it, so I want to make that perfectly clear.
Absolutely. And if anyone has a problem with what he's saying,
Fuck you, Malacca!
Really?
Some people have had a problem that I said that.
Well,
and I've been called, this is a politically correct version of it. No, it's not. These are the lyrics in the song. You know what I mean? So, whatever,
It can't be politically correct if what he was singing about then is what's going on now between these morons.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. I mean, nobody told me that to my face, but I'll see, once in a while I'll see a comment online or whatever, so it's like, all right, I mean, if you have a problem with me reciting those lyrics that are talking about that this isn't a racist song, then you got a bigger problem, you know what I mean, than I do. It's just,
I look at it this way.
So
People who judge it for being a racist song, they're looking for trouble where it doesn't exist. And if anything, for the finger they're pointing at you, there's three pointing right back at them.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. Yep, they have a bigger problem. So
Exactly.
but whatever. So I have had to confront that, those are some examples. And again, the symbol, the tri symbol or whatever.
I was about to call it the Tri-Reich, but that's a Queensryche symbol.
That's something. Yeah, I don't think they
That's something different.
Yeah, they have no troubles with that. I hope not. Even in New York, actually, we had those on a flyer, and the reporter was like, "Get that off the flyer," and we did. It's like, okay, I know it looks similar. I understand everybody's viewpoint here, right? I mean, the story about what that symbol was, from what I understand, is it's derived from a happy hour symbol, but it's inverted, it's reversed. So that changes the meaning, right? If you have a cross and you turn it upside down, it means the opposite.
Similar to the Yahtzee symbol, where if it's reversed, is actually a Buddhist symbol.
Right, that's right. It goes back to one of the most peaceful cultures you could think of,
Mm-hmm.
And also on another note, I was watching an episode of Star Trek not that long ago, and on one of the planets, they had a symbol that looked kind of like that on one of the structures in one of the planets that they had visited.
The Tri one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
I forget which episode that is, but I'm watching that. And I'm like, wait a minute. Did Pete actually get that from Star Trek?
I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
Yeah, because I know he was a big fan. So I don't know, but that's caused problems, and we've had to like take that off. And you know what? Fuck it, fine. I don't. We don't need this controversy. The symbol's not that.
Yeah, you just want to play the music and just make yourselves happy and make the fans happy. And I think in the end, that's what matters.
Yeah, no question about that. We actually had a shirt that had the symbol on it for one point, and then I'm like, forget it, just replace it with the Fallout symbol, and then we changed the print.
Right. I remember Phil Anselmo when he was still in Pantera. This is around the time that Far Beyond Driven came out. Him and Vinnie Paul were interviewed by MTV News, and he had a Carnivore shirt that had that symbol on it.
And they never heard the end of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that asshole Kurt Loder referred to it as a, he referred to it as what he referred to it.
Ever since the thrash rant band Pantera topped the charts with its new album Far Beyond Driven, there's been media mumbling about the alleged racism of the group's lyrics. A quick check of the lyric sheet reveals nothing beyond the usual apocalyptic hardcore spew, although such phrases as building a blood and kill them all may strike some non-fans as vaguely unsettling. We spoke to Pantera about all this recently, and in our interview with frontman Phil Anselmo, you'll notice he's wearing a t-shirt bearing the Triskelion, a circle of 3 interlocked sevens that's well known as a white supremacist symbol in South Africa. So she knew the meaning of that t-shirt symbol Anselmo was wearing. A Pantera publicist said clothes are not the issue.
And this is why Kurt Loder worked at MTV for as long as he did, because no one else could take him seriously as a journalist. But I digress.
Right. Good point. I mean, granted, Pete was definitely pushing the envelope a little bit, right? Because it does resemble it, how people are. But I think he didn't give a shit. He's like, well, if you're going to be offended, then be offended. Fuck it. I think he was coming from that perspective as well. He didn't sit here and try to explain it like I am. He didn't have to.
I appreciate the fact that you're explaining it and telling, the listeners and showing the viewers that Carnivore AD is not coming from a place of, hatred, which I never thought that was ever the case for a second. And, again, offensiveness is subjective, not objective. If you're offended by something, you need to question why, and then ask yourself, really, are you that offended by it?
Yeah.
And if you're not, just walk away.
Yeah. Go listen to another record or something. There are plenty of other things in the world to be offended by other than this. Well, one quick quote about things that are offensive, and something that Pete said, actually. Pete always, maybe you've heard him say this before. He always felt that that music, rock music especially, isn't any good unless it offends a lot of people, unless it offends the right wing, the left wing, your parents, the school system, the media, et cetera,
the church.
The church, and he lists some other things as well.
If it doesn't upset people, it's not rock music. If it doesn't upset your parents, it's not rock music. We were labeled both fascist and communist. We were just capitalists. World domination. 1, 2, 3. Communazi. This way you can left, right wing, left wing, chicken wing. Communism, fascism, botulism, number 1. Everybody gets free salmonella. You're a true character. I've been told. Rock is taking those primal feelings and amplifying them to 150 fucking decibels and saying fuck you to the world.
I agree with him.
Was coming from. Yeah, I agree too. And but he offended everybody.
but that's the thing though, like we're, I'm a parent and we're of the age where we're older than kids that would listen to rock music, although, they'd rather listen to EDM or whatever's popular right now. So I'm wondering if Pete, who I think he was 50, I think, when he passed, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
So
49 might not even been 50.
Something.
Either or, yeah.
Either or, but he was at that age where technically he'd be considered a parent. So I wondered if he still felt the same way about it.
Yeah, eventually the tables turn. Yeah, exactly.
And all I have to say is no. And I do love his one political statement. He said, "We're not left wing, we're not right wing, we're chicken wing."
Chicken wing, yeah, of course, yeah, absolutely.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm chicken wing.
Yeah,
all right,
I'm bat wing. I have my own play on it.
Bat wing.
Yeah. So I want to keep with the whole shtick here. So. But crazy world, crazy people, right?
Love it.
So long, suckers. Have a good night.
We are the rebels that forge from your hate as you plan. Someone to fight with you and argue to or make the you. My heart still bleeds, my eyes still cry, and I can't forgive you for this.
Hey, you. Turn the fucking lights on so everybody can see this guy. Your middle finger is the exact same length as your mother's uterus. Hi, Mom.